the first Chief Investment Officer of GIC.
Who can give Taman a contest?
30-year age gap, not my president.
Why not? There's nothing to be ashamed of.
But how confident are you in carrying out the other responsibilities of the president?
We don't want to talk about this kind of thing.
Did you also almost become a priest and then met a girl who almost became a nun and then said, I'm gonna become my wife? This is your daily ketchup.
Boom.
Say goodbye to overcare and mismatched products. And welcome SEIKAN Skincare.
Embrace SEIKAN Skincare with Freeplus and grab a bottle for yourself today at Don Don Donki, Welcia BHG, and now also at Watson's. Thanks.
1, 2, 3, 1 plus 2, 3, 4. I need more movement.
Denise, do you know that we're almost hitting 80k subscribers?
Woo! So drop us a subscribe to help us get there, especially if you're part of these 50% who are still not subscribed. Thank you very much. We love you.
So the word that we want to use today for our meditation is thank you. Thank you. All right? Take a few seconds to be aware of your breath. Feel your breath coming into your body and then feel your breath leaving your body. So let's try to do this for about 2 minutes. Thank you. Thank you.
So welcome to the second episode of our presidential election series. And today we are talking to none other than Mr. Ng Kok Song.
Let's go.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Who also has an English name called Peter.
Peter, yeah, that's my
Peter,
Christian
right.
name, my baptism name.
Oh, so you got it at 7 years old.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we've done a lot of research on
And,
you.
and it was very useful for me, especially when I was working in England or when I go to America,
Right.
because they struggle to pronounce the word ng.
Right.
So I said, just call me Peter. And
Right.
it also happens to be my Christian name.
Right. So you didn't use that name for like 20, 30 years, then Peter made a resurgence.
So in Singapore, my friends in Singapore know me as Kok Song.
yeah.
I hope that as a result of this presidential campaign, everybody around the world will know me as Ng Kok Song.
Got it.
Your colleagues in America, hey, isn't this guy Peter?
Okay, so for those who don't know so much about Peter Ng Kok Song, he's most known for being the first Chief Investment Officer of Government of Singapore Investment Corporation, or GIC for short. Yeah, though he has stressed that he's independent and not affiliated to any political party.
Yeah. A lot of confusion.
Yeah.
But why are you running?
Took me 4 months
Okay.
to make my decision. If I didn't put my name forward, and if Mr. George Goh is disqualified,
Right.
and there's only Taman, what do you call that? Walk over. So I think it's very important to honor the presidency, that we should have an election so that whoever is elected can say that they were chosen by the people.
That's a really interesting starting point. I mean, despite President Halima, for example, personally, I knew of her doing a fantastic job and doing a lot for the people, right? But because of a walkover, some people say it's not my president.
Yeah, so by contesting, the people of Singapore has won. They win the opportunity to exercise the right to vote. Of course, I like to win.
Same.
Who doesn't want to win? When you enter something, you want to give your very best.
Yeah, right.
So I said, who can give Taman a contest? I keep thinking it over my head. Why not you, Kok Song? Why not you? Not many people in Singapore have my experience. I helped to build up our reserves. I helped to build up the GIC.
So do you know how much money is inside the reserves?
Was my next question too.
As of 2013.
So if I ask you how much money you have, would you tell me?
No. I won't tell you.
If you say yes,
I won't tell you, but
Yeah.
I know how much money is in my bank. So the question actually is, do you know how much money is in the bank?
The total amount of money we have is a national secret. I have already left the GIC
Right.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. When I was at the GIC, I knew.
I see. Okay.
that's all.
Good enough. Oh, that's interesting.
Because I have to know because
Yeah.
I'm investing the money.
Exactly.
But now I do not know.
Understand.
Understand.
Understand. No, that's all. Yeah.
that's fair.
How many people in Singapore actually knows, you think?
Only the people who need to know should know.
So like less than 10 people maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
They may know, but it's an official secret.
Yes.
They cannot divulge this.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And we won't make them divulge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Mr. Taman just now, right? How does it feel being about to run against your boss?
Ex-boss.
Ooh. Spicy.
It's fun. When you say boss, we must be careful what you mean, right?
Yeah.
All right. At the GIC, all right. He was deputy chairman of the GIC. I was chief investment officer. So he's on the board of directors, chaired by Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. All right. I lead the investment team. So we have to make recommendations to the board about our investment strategy. And then the board of directors, which includes Mr. Taman, they study our recommendations, they might challenge us, and then finally they approve the recommendations. Right? Then I have to go and execute the strategy. That's why I explain he's the policy maker. But I and my management team, we're the money maker.
Executive team.
So both are important, equally important.
So when you decided to run, did you like call him up and be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm also
I mean,
also putting my name in the ring?
would you inform?
I would lah. I would.
Of course I did.
Okay.
I called him, I said, Taman, I just want to inform you personally that I'm going to stand for the office of president.
Oh, what a phone call.
Yeah.
What a phone
What was
call.
his reaction to that? Oh my god.
He sounded a little bit surprised. So I said, I just want to tell you because we are friends, we work together. I don't want you to hear it from the newspapers.
Yeah.
Right? So I explained to him and he understood my reasons.
Right.
You also mentioned in a very recent interview that you are running for president to honor and thank Mr. Lee Kuan Yew,
Yes.
Whom you taught to meditate.
who you taught to meditate. It was reviewed in another article. So what exactly is your relationship with the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew?
The sinister tale of a singer turned witch doctor.
The rapist who divided the nation. The Taiwan subway killer.
Convicted of murdering 52 people.
Across the face.
As he stabbed her, he ejaculated.
I can see like
Q. Kao. Overcare. Welcome to Gruesome Grubs.
So you guys just watched some clips from our new true crime show, Gruesome Grub, where we take a look at some of the most horrific crimes that happened throughout history and eat the food associated with them. Episodes are already rolling out on our new food channel, The Grubbies, and so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you there.
Hold up! Don't forget to like this video if you also like to meditate. Thank you. Back to the episode.
I worked with Mr. Lee for 30 years when he was the chairman of the board of the GIC, and I was the chief investment officer. So I see him regularly across the table.
Oh, scary.
Well, initially it was quite intimidating, right? Because when I first started out, I was not an expert,
Right.
but he was constantly challenging me, helping me to be better. And so I learned a lot under his tutorship. Then the special moment came in 2010. At that time, Mr. Lee was 87 years old. He had retired. Then one day he phoned me up and says, Kok Song, can you help me to meditate?
Oh, he asked you.
Yes. So I said, why do you want to meditate? He says, I'm 87 years old. I'm going into the final stage of my life. I want to have a clear mind. I want to have serenity. of mine. And then at that time, Mrs. Lee was not well. So he says he was feeling very down. He was doing his very best to look after Mrs. Lee. And so he says, I thought that if I learn to meditate, it will help me to come to terms with the condition that my wife was in. So I went to help Mr. Lee to meditate. I myself met him probably about 15 to 20 times.
Wow.
For meditation alone.
Yes.
Wow.
And so I would go to his office and we would meditate together. And then after the meditation, he would ask me to stay on for a while, to have a chat with me. He would find out how I was, how's the family. So it was one of the most moving experiences of my life. So much so that the last time when I saw him, shortly before he died, he could not stand up. He was sitting on a chair. So he asked me to come forward to him. And he held my hand and he says, Kok Song, thank you very much for coming so many times to help me with my meditation. I broke down. I said, Mr. Lee, you do not know what an honor it is for me to spend this time with you privately. So he just smiled at me. And I will never forget that smile on his face. So, so this year we are commemorating the 100th birthday of Mr. Lee. So one of the reasons why I decided to stand for presidency, I want to honor the memory of Mr. Lee. I think he would be happy. By standing for president, I want to thank Mr. Lee for what he did for Singapore, for what he did for me. Because how could a kampung boy become the chief investment officer of GIC and today is standing for the presidency? So that is another reason why I'm prepared to come forward.
Respect!
God damn.
You made me nearly cry 3 times in this podcast.
Wow.
I feel so exhausted.
In a great way.
From being
Like, in a
emotional.
great way.
From being emotional.
Like, yeah, emotionally, wow. Moved. Very moved.
Thank you,
Thank you
so
for that.
much
Oh my God.
sharing,
Wow,
yeah.
that was. Wow, you're a really great storyteller, by the way. Yeah. You ever thought of being a yoga teacher?
How about Pilates?
Yeah.
I know the guys from yoga movement.
No, yoga is very good as a preparation for meditation.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
There
It's
you
not
go. Yes.
our pocket question.
Yes, a lot of people do yoga, but they miss the final stage.
Because I got to rush to my cafe and eat.
Because the word yoga means the unity of body and mind, but the union with your spirit, with your soul.
Right. I think we just like go back into like
Yeah.
your early life a bit more. And I think one of the more interesting things that I read about is that so you were baptized at age 7 and then you actually considered being a priest in your early years.
Ah, yes. You see, I came from this village called Kangka in Hougang. And I think older generations of Singaporeans will know that Hougang, they call it Holy Land.
No
way.
way.
Yes, Holy Land because many people in Hougang are Roman Catholics.
Right.
Roman Catholics. So my father was not a Roman Catholic, but my aunties were all Roman Catholics. So from very young, they would bring me to church, you know. So I grew up in that kind of environment, you know. At that time, my village was full of gangsters.
Oh.
But because I was baptized, I came under the good influence of the priest and it kept me out of trouble. So I was very attracted. I said, these people are so good. They teach me how to study, you know. They teach me how to have a good character, how to be honest. And that was why, but I was we were very poor. So my father says, no, Kok Song, priests don't make money to support their family.
Ah.
So, but we need you to support the family. So please don't
Yeah.
become a priest.
So it's not because you met your wife.
So God has a way of consoling us. So I gave up the idea of becoming a priest, and then my wife came to my school, Montfort School, right?
Right.
In those days, Montfort was just all boys school. But when I
Guys,
was
we're talking about his late wife.
yeah, my late wife, when I was in pre-university, junior college days, Patricia came to my school, right?
Like love at first sight.
Yeah.
Ah.
Really? Yeah. First day of school, so I heard the girls walking by, laughing away. So I opened the window to see, and there was this Patricia, rosy cheeks with a ponytail, and her face was so radiant, very cheerful, So I
That'll do it. Yeah.
instantly
Yeah,
fell
I get
in
it.
love, And the more interesting story was actually her teachers, who are nuns, Catholic nuns.
Right.
They want her to become a nun. My priest want me to become a priest. But when the two of us fell in love, the Catholic Church lost 2 vocations.
You chase her or she chase you?
What do you mean sure is he chased her?
Why?
Denise.
Because it was an era of chauvinism.
You see, I was the head prefect.
You see.
Everyone wants a head prefect.
Everybody wants the
wins.
head prefect.
So immediately I recruited her to be a prefect.
It's all about recruitment those days. The gangs were trying to get him. Then the priest trying to get him. The nuns trying to get her. Now the prefect trying to get her.
At that time it was okay. Now you call it
Yeah.
Conflict of interest.
nepotism, conflict of interest.
That was wild last time.
Yeah. So, but she came from the town area. She lived in Newton Circus.
City girl.
This is what we call uptown girl.
Uptown girl.
You see,
okay. Yeah.
kampung boy, right?
Then you're the backstreet guy. Yeah.
And I was so poor, right? So I was actually a bit embarrassed because.
A bit insecure.
So
lah,
then
but-
one day, she together with some of her friends paid me a surprise visit to my house, to my hut, I would say, not even house.
No, really, like a legit, like a.
Atap house, marked on the floor. Okay.
Okay.
So that after she left the next day, I said, "Why you come and visit me without telling me?"
Wow.
So she realized that I was maybe a bit ashamed.
Right.
She says, "Kok Song, what is there to be ashamed of? You are poor, but your father made an honest living to support all of you. There's nothing to be ashamed of." That was the moment I really fell in love with her. When we started going on dates, because both of us were Catholics, so on Sunday we go for Sunday Mass. But in my village, very conservative. So all the males will sit on one side, all the females will sit on the other side.
Right.
Then question is, do we go men's side or women's side? The two of us. So of course I said, you come to my side lah. If I go and sit on the women's side, it looks a bit strange. So she came
For
and
that
sit
time,
with
I
me.
agree.
And then straight away, the whole village knows that we are dating.
Kok Song, Kok Song conquers, yeah.
Jared, if he wins, he gonna kill him.
Wonderful memories. Wonderful memories. Thank you for reviving them for me.
Oh, we can keep reviving them.
I'm so sorry, he really dig you up.
He's on his first points over.
Yeah. So you what's especially impressive is that when you started out at your career at the Ministry of Finance, you actually had 0 experience in economics.
Yes. First of all, I studied physics and mathematics, not economics or finance, And then secondly, I came from a very poor family. All right. So when I went for interview to get my posting for my job, because I have to work for the government because I went to university on a bursary,
Right.
on scholarship. So they say there is a vacancy in the Ministry of Finance on investment. So I said, investment, is it to get multinational companies to come to Singapore, to build factories, create jobs? They say, no, this is to invest our reserves, our financial reserves in the stock market, in the bond market, currency market. So excuse me, sir, what is a stock? What is a bond?
Right.
So you mean you do not know? Don't you watch TV? Don't you listen to the radio?
The guy also don't know. The guy on the phone.
that's right.
The guy also got his
They
knowledge
all
from
trying to
TV.
trap each other.
So I
Like,
said,
so you get it right, our guy.
excuse me, sir. I come from a very poor family. I have no TV. I don't have a radio.
You won.
An answer he was not expecting, probably.
So he says, but you study mathematics? I said, yes, sir.
Good enough for me.
So he said, do you want a job? I said, I have no choice.
What a time, oh. This is a joint interview first time. We're wild, oh.
So listen, young people, listen. You may start off knowing nothing, but you can learn. If you work hard, you study hard, you can become Chief Investment Officer of GIC.
But only got one spot.
How do you learn what is a stock?
Yeah, I couldn't Google it, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually find a book.
Last time got no Google.
Library. What are stocks?
So after pre-university, we went to university together.
Right.
Yes. She studied economics, I studied physics.
But you ended up in GIC.
So when I became an investment officer, she coached me in economics.
I see. So how does one prepare to invest other people's money of such enormous sums of which when you lose, right, you upset 6 million people?
So this is a big challenge for people at the GIC or Temasek, you know. Bad news get reported. When you make money, people do not know.
Yeah. They're like, as you should.
So what it means is that if you are doing that job, what matters is your overall track record. Because in investments, if you make 10 decisions, you are very good if you get 7 out of 10 right. You cannot expect that every investment decision you make will turn out right. Keep in mind that I have an investment team. I have many investment professionals. So as a chief investment officer, I have to focus on how much to put in risky investments, how much to put in low-risk investments, how much to put into the stock market, how much to put in the bond market. And then stock market, how much to put in America, how much to put in Europe, in China, in Japan, in Asia. These are the big decisions. These big decisions, we said, these are the decisions that have the biggest impact on the bottom line. And then I have got many professional staff who concentrate, you might say, on the lower level decisions. Lower level, but still important because everything contributes to the overall result.
Do you feel like the young people in Singapore are accorded the same opportunities that you have back then?
I think during my time, because we were a young country and we had just become independent, you know.
When was that? Sorry, when was your first
I
job?
started in 1970.
Okay.
So 5 years after we became independent.
Yep.
So in the early years of independence, even though you have no experience, you were given responsibility.
Oh my god, yeah,
For
when
better or
Singapore
for
was a
worse,
startup.
Yeah, that's right. So the department I worked in investment was the startup that today is the GIC.
Right.
You see? So it's true, there were more opportunities then at higher positions. But I don't think you should be despondent because when I first started, Singapore was nowhere as a financial center. All right? But now we have built up our reputation, we have accumulated a lot of experience. When I was very young, you know, number one financial center in the world was New York, understandably. Number 2, London, right? Number 3, maybe Switzerland, right? And number 4, maybe Frankfurt, you know, and then or Tokyo, right? So now Singapore is among the top 5, you know? And I think that given the importance of China and Asia, we can become at least number 3, if not number 2.
Wow.
So we must dare to think.
This is the kind of
what is the
optimism that's missing
potential?
in this generation.
What is the potential? So sometimes we tend to focus on our limitations, cannot do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We must have a can-do attitude.
Speaking of these many European countries, I've also read that you were part of the strategic committee for the French National Treasury.
Strategic Committee of Agency France Trésor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's-
Got it.
Even I cannot pronounce like that.
Come on. lah. Oh, don't worry, my pronunciation is going to get much worse
Very good.
because
Okay, let's go.
you were also the French government conferred you 2 titles:
Yes.
the Order of Merit, Officier de l'Ordre
Is that still the order of merit?
National du Mérite,
Sounds about right, to be honest.
and one more. Yeah.
No, you don't read the English
No,
name.
there's
You
not
read
enough
the.
phlegm.
Oh, okay,
We
okay.
read the French one, then we guess the English.
Okay, guess the second one. Okay, La Croix de Chevalier
The cross.
de la Légion d'Honneur.
Oh, something in the Legion.
Legion of Honor Cross.
Yeah, my French not bad.
Next time I go to Paris, I will bring you with me.
No, okay, but try saying croissant.
Me? Croissant.
You are like the,
Right, I think
you are like the news guy lah.
Andre Chicha.
Andre Chicha, oh my god, flashback.
Oh, well, I was very, very honored because the French government, they wanted a financial expert from Asia.
Right.
They could have gone to Japan, they could have gone to China, they've go to Taiwan, Hong Kong, but they chose me,
Boy.
a Singaporean. And they were very kind. They were, because I explained to them, I said, I cannot speak French. Like, you can speak French.
Oui, oui.
Monsieur.
That's the candle attitude you need to.
So,
Say yes.
so I explained to the chairman, his name is Jacques de la Rosière.
It sounds legit.
That's better than me.
He's chairman. So I said, excuse me, I cannot speak French. So your meeting in French, I cannot understand. So he said, no, Kok Song, for your sake, we will have the meeting in English.
Wow.
But every now and then, they all speak French.
Yeah.
You know? Then I said, excuse me, sir, can you please translate for me? But you see, that is very, very, it shows that Singaporeans can rise to high positions in the world.
Yeah.
I'm just an example of it.
Right.
And it's not to any merit of myself, it's because of my work at GIC that I became known as a global financial expert.
What did they call you, Peter? Like Peter?
No, Kok Song. Say Kok Song just now.
Oh, they call him croissant.
Croissant? Mr. Croissant?
You see, the word kosong,
I can't believe I'm doing this.
we are dealing with many kosongs, you see.
That's right.
1 billion.
That's 9 croissants.
Great, you're a mathematician. Yeah.
Oh, can do.
Let's go.
I'm going to Paris.
Time
I'm
to
going
go back to
MAS.
school.
Oh, so in terms of the presidency, you are more than qualified to oversee Singapore's reserves.
Huh? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But how confident are you in carrying out the other responsibilities of the president? Because it's more than just overseeing the reserves. There are diplomatic functions. One might say is the chief diplomat of Singapore.
Do you know that how many countries the GIC invests in?
Can say.
30 to 40 countries. Do you know which country the GIC does not invest in? Singapore.
Yeah.
Because foreign reserves.
You see? So by the very nature of my job, I was an international diplomat.
Right.
I was the ambassador to many countries for Singapore.
True.
So I can handle not only ministers for finance, central bank governors, I can handle multinational CEOs because they know me. I probably have made more overseas trips than most of the ministers because of my work at the GIC.
Right.
And then, of course, there's a social role that the president has to play. And I have said that I want to pay particular attention to the challenges of the younger generation. I want to help the younger people deal with stress, develop more self-confidence, emotional resilience. And then lastly, I want to help young people learn the skill of financial literacy. In other words, the importance of saving money, how to invest the money properly. All right. So these are 3 life skills, and so I feel that these are the ways that I can make a special contribution as president.
How's your family taking? I mean, I think one of the I hope you pardon me if it might sound disrespectful. I think one of the first impressions the public got of you, I think they were looking at you and your young fiance beside you, right?
Yes.
And then they were like, huh? Right? And of course you held a very key figure in Singapore's development. But at that point, no one knew who you were.
Yes.
How did you all take it as a family unit?
So of course I have to consult my family, meaning my 3 children and their spouses, and my fiance. So they say, yeah, Dad, if you have decided, we will support you. And then similarly for Sybil, we are quite private people. But when you are campaigning for president, people are interested in you, find out what you are. And of course, this is involve intrusion into our privacy, because it's important that that you know and the people should know who is Kok Song. What kind of a person is he? That I do not want to be known just as a financial expert. So we say we will tell the story. More so because you might say, well, Sybil is 45, I'm 75. Instead of allowing gossip and misperception to arise, because once it's arise, very difficult to erase it. So I said, let's see how we can best communicate. Number one, Sybil has been living in Singapore for almost 20 years. She's a Singapore citizen. She gave up her Canadian citizenship to become a Singapore citizenship, even before she met me.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And then number two, she's a professional. She's an investment professional. She helps to look after her grandfather's foundation. All right. So we want to dispel this notion that she's a gold digger.
Right.
But actually,
She also rich.
she's got more money than me.
So you are the...
I mean, we don't want to talk about this kind of thing.
Let's not.
Yeah.
But then people
We'll bring it up, lah.
will bring it up, you see. So we decided to tell this story. And then my story was that my wife had passed away, all right, 18 years ago, all right? And I was single for 14 years.
How was that for you? Sorry,
single-
if you don't
single
mind me
father,
asking. I recently started watching this show called Afterlife. It's broadly about a man that lost his wife and can't get his shit together.
Very good.
Yeah. And how was that for you, if you don't mind going back there?
It's a strange thing to say, but that period when I cared for her for 19 months before she died, it was the happiest time of our life together. Because we knew that time was short.
Every moment counts.
So I took time off from work. We just, I go with her on every visit to the doctor for chemotherapy, for radiation, for surgery. I was always by her side. I cannot suffer for her, but I will be by her side, And then whenever we have the time, we would go to East Coast Beach, East Coast Park. We'd take a mat, put on the sand, and we just lie down there, and talk. I wanted to show her that I love her. And also, she told me herself, she says, thank you for doing this. And she says, you helped me overcome my fear of death. Because when you are loved, you lose your fear of death because you know that you are loved. So that was a very meaningful time for me. So when Patricia died, I did not grieve because I had the opportunity to care for her and to show my love for her. All right? And because I received so much love from Patricia, for 33 years we were married. I said, after she died, I said, she has given me enough love to last me a lifetime. And so I said, I won't have another relationship. It's enough. I was not lonely. I was happy. I was very involved in my work, And then 14 years later, unexpectedly, Sybil walked into my life and I fell in love again.
So the scrutiny is one thing, but was it ever in consideration that this relationship age gap might affect the votes that you get? Because I was having dinner with my mother.
A good boy.
Thank you. And so we were just talking, obviously, about the presidential elections, right? Everyone's talking about it. Then we go down on all the candidates, and then
You what?
no, we list.
Shut up, man.
We list down. We talked about all the candidates, lah. And then when we reached you, my mother was like, 30-year age gap, not my president.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like,
Did y'all see it coming that this
Yeah.
would be a problem for
So
Singaporeans?
you cannot please everybody.
hear that, mom?
Yeah lah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think maybe, there'll be younger people say it's very cool. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Sybil is 45. She's a middle-aged woman, a professional in her own right. So sometimes we have to explain, and maybe you can help me to explain to your mother.
I tried.
Yeah, but, so we're not going to hide. I think that Sybil will be a great asset to the presidency.
Why do you say that?
Yeah.
She will help me to understand the younger generation better. And the younger generation are vital for Singapore's future, right? And she works in the area of preventative health care, mental health. She helps with people with disabilities, we don't publicize all these things because we are not politicians. We just work from behind the scenes. So I feel that she will be able to help me in many ways, should I become the president.
All right, and that's it for the episode. Thank you so much, Mr. Ng Kok Song, for speaking to us. And we hope that you have learned so much more about him too.
And if you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and stay on for the rest of our presidential candidate series.
Bye bye. See you
Bye.
there.
Bye.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Shall we begin with 2 minutes of meditation?
Okay, so remember to do two things. So stillness of body, just sit still. All right? Try to sit with your back straight so that you don't go back to sleep.
Back straight, not very relaxing.
No, you must be
Got
alert.
you.
Alert
All right?
but relaxed.
And then to bring stillness of mind, you must learn to let go of your thoughts. Let go of all your thoughts about what we are going to discuss today.
Huh?
You
This is
you
hypnosis,
let
guys.
go of your questions, I let go of my answers. Take a few seconds to be aware of your breath. Feel your breath coming into your body, and then feel your breath leaving your body. And then for the stillness of mind, what you have to do is to take one word, and we call it a mantra. So the word that we want to use today for our meditation is thank you. Thank you. All right? So just say the word quietly within you without moving your lips and listen to it. So let's try to do this for about 2 minutes. Thank you. Thank you.
Who's counting the time?
So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, we're done. Oh, we're done. Oh, sorry.
That was kind of fun.
That was not bad. I have to say I was very distracted because you mentioned to choose a word first before you actually said thank you. So in my head, right, I went with potato. And then when you kept saying like repeat again, right, I kept going potato, potato, and I was like,
Thank you,
this is
potato.
funny.
Choose a word that is meaningful. So I recommend the word thank you because it's gratitude.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
It feels like decompressing.
Yeah.